All that glitters isn't always gold, or so the saying goes. Gold prices are down almost 20% from their recent March peak. That puts the precious metal on the cusp of a bear market, which experts say is strange because this should be the perfect time to own gold. So what's behind the curious case of falling gold prices? Combined with other factors, the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes have pushed the U.S. dollar to a two-decade high. First, there was a shortage of toilet paper and computer chips, followed by baby formula, and now possibly beer. A shortage of aluminum cans and carbon dioxide could be the next supply chain issue to impact American consumers. Brewers also point to rising prices of malted barley and hops, as well as transportation that impact their bottom line. Beer prices are up 5% so far this year. Coming up next, Jack Wallace has the latest sports highlights.